Welcome Music Over Matter. As you guys probably have already seen, Apple Music has done their top 100 best albums of all time, including all genres. Today, we just took out all the hip-hop ones, hip-hop adjacent ones, and we're just going to focus on those. Of course, this is just a corporation's list. Who knows who voted on it? Who knows what criteria they're using? So it really means nothing besides the fact that it creates conversation. And that's what they want because it worked. Because every single one of their tweets has like 10,000 likes at least per album. So it worked. But like I said, we're just going to purely discuss hip hop today because that's what we know. And we're not educated enough to talk about other genres. So we're just going to go list number by number, say if it's a good placement or not, and then we're going to talk about some snubs as well, because there are a few of them that are kind of outrageous.
So starting at 98 is ASTROWORLD. I assume this list is based off of popularity and how good the album is. Like, I think popularity chooses a lot of it.
Just based on how they ranked, or like the albums they chose, it's based on popularity, cultural impact, like not just like hip hop culture, of course, but like actual world impact, as well as like quality of the music. Like it's a mix because some of the albums like might not be as good, but you understand why they're higher because of the impact they had on like humanity. So I don't know.
Having ASTROWORLD on the list, I think, is a good pick.
You're saying ASTROWORLD is a top 100 album of all time?
Maybe.
Hell to the no.
Okay, but it's not even Travis's best. I could see having Rodeo in this spot would have been a much better pick.
Yeah. I could see Rodeo taking the spot. It's hard to say like, oh, you need to move it up, right? That's hard to say because there's so many other albums and genres. Rodeo should have definitely been, if Travis is going to have a spot, Rodeo needs to be there. Of course, we both think Utopia is also better than ASTROWORLD, but Utopia doesn't have the impact that ASTROWORLD did.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of understand. That being said, Rodeo is 100% more impactful and better than ASTROWORLD. At 92, they placed Flower Boy. I'm not mad at this. The issue with Flower Boy is I don't think it has that much of a cultural impact. I don't see the impact it had, like influence-wise on music and people.
I would say Igor would have a better... I mean, since I think Igor is better than Flower Boy, I'd like to see Igor over Flower Boy on this list.
And if they picked Igor, I could see them placing it here, and that's fine as well.
Because it's one of the like the greatest like love breakup albums.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree with that, but some people do like Flower Boy more, so that's fine. Also, it seems like they tried their best to only do one per artist. They went away from that later on in the list with a few different people, but it seems like that's what they tried to do as well, so that's important.
84 is Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg.
Later on in the list, just based on where they place some other things, there's no reason the albums above this are better than this.
Yeah, that's true.
Like later on, we'll talk about some more that are definitely not better than Doggy Style. I'm happy that Doggy Style made the list, 100%. I think it could have been higher. Has the cultural impact. One of the most popular like album covers of all time. Like coming in at 82 is Get Rich or Die Tryin. I don't know. I think this is actually good placement. It has some bangers, so you could argue like, you know, PIMP, Into Club is one of the most easily recognizable songs of all time across all music. I could see 82.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good
this is a list of every single album that's ever released, so it's really hard to say like, oh, it needs to be higher.
Yeah, but I'm also comparing it just to
the rest of
the hip hop list.
Yeah, if you're comparing it to that, Get Rich or Die Tryin should be way lower. There's some albums that are coming up that are unbelievably stupid placement.
At number 80, we have the Marshall Mathers LP. Super low placement at 80.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. As soon as I saw this, I said, yeah, this list is toast.
For the whole list, like I'd say maybe top 40.
It should be 100%. Yeah.
Like minimum like top 40, but on just the hip hop list, it should be top 5.
80. Are we serious? This album completely changed how music is seen. Like if you look back at when this album dropped, here's this crazy ass insane white boy who just like comes out of, you know, blows the hell up, changes everything. I think Marshall Mathers LP has 1 million units sold first week. I think it has something stupid, like unbelievably stupid. So if you're taking into consideration not only the music, which Marshall Mathers LP has an insane domino effect. If you're also taking into consideration cultural impact, this thing is easily top 50, but this placement was unbelievably outrageous. Also, am I a little biased? Yes, but I think that's like, even if you dislike Eminem, you cannot discredit his earlier works. Coming in at 72 is a absolutely ridiculous placement. SOS by SZA. Are we serious? I mean, are we serious?
I think it's just because how popular this album is like a big part of it. For me at least, like if you want to add SZA, Control is a better album.
Control, I can understand being in the 90s. But if we're comparing what we've already seen, Control and SOS is not more impactful or better than Get Rich or Die Tryin. Marshall Mathers LP. Doggy Style, are we serious? There's no way this should be this
I can
way.
see it at the
There's
bottom
no
of the
way.
list.
It needs to be in the 90s. If you're going to include it, there's no shot. If you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to scroll down and hit that subscribe button for us for more hip-hop related content. And let's get back to it.
At number 70, we have Straight Outta Compton by M.A.a.d. I feel like it's a good placement. It's a classic old album, but it had a great impact to it. But
that's the only argument that I'll say that it needs to be slightly higher. But again, it's hard to say.
To me, I feel like it's a good placement.
Straight Outta Compton's cultural impact is maybe the most impactful, not music-wise, but in terms of like culture and the way people view hip hop. This is the most impactful album of all time. Quality, maybe not. Like the quality of Straight Outta Compton has definitely over the past like 10 years maybe, like it's not, but it's also an old album, so you know, it's like, hard to say.
It sounds old because it's old.
Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Coming at 65 is 3 Feet High and Rising by De La Soul.
Yeah, it's good to see it on the list.
You could argue it needs to be, you know, behind some other albums that have already been listed, but whatever.
Number 62, All Eyes on Me by Tupac.
All Eyes on Me by Tupac. That shit needs to be at least, again, top 50. 62 is ridiculous. Especially considering what we're about to get to that's listed.
That's true.
There is no shot that All Eyes on Me is less impactful, less quality than some of these albums coming up.
There's a big gap between the next one.
Yeah, there's a big gap in hip-hop albums here. From 62 to 48. There was a lot without that. Damn. We got Paul's Boutique by Beastie Boys.
I'm not the biggest fan of Beastie Boys, just their sound in general.
I think that it aged like really bad. I think Beastie Boys aged really poorly, but I could move that up to top 70. 48 is pretty low. I was like, that's pretty high, I guess, or low. I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of Beastie Boys sound, so I can't really.
Yeah, but there's also some other albums here that have had bigger impacts and they're better albums.
Number 47, Take Care by Drake. Out of all the Drake albums, they put this one, which I'm fine with that.
This is ridiculous.
This
Take Care higher than Marshall Mathers LP, Get Rich or Die Tryin, Doggy Style. Do I need to keep going? Dude, this is ridiculous. If you're gonna have a Drake album, it needs to be in the 90s. Has Drake launched a lot of careers? Yes. Has he done numbers? Yes. But what is his music actually influencing?
Take Care is not my favorite Drake album. Out of all the Drake albums that can be considered a classic later on, I feel like Take Care is that. I feel like
100%.
Choosing Take Care there out of every Drake album was a
I don't mind them picking Take Care. It should not be 47.
Yeah.
It's the 47th greatest album of all time. Are we serious? No, literally no shot.
Yeah.
Coming out at 41 is Aquemini by Outkast.
It could be higher. 40.
It is kind of interesting they picked this one.
I think it's really hard to choose between Outkast albums. Yes.
Yeah, I think this is their best one, but it is interesting they picked this one.
For the hip hop list, it should be higher, but overall, number 40, I think that's a good.
Yeah, I could see it being moved down about 10 places.
In like the 50s? But I
can
see
no. In the 30s.
So you move it up, not down.
The fact that we still have
like half the list.
What is that? Yeah, like 10, 12 albums left is kind of ridiculous. You could pick any Outkast album, it should be like pretty high on hip hop album lists. So
yeah. Number 39.
No.
Illmatic.
No.
Illmatic?
This is terrible placement, dude. If you're taking in all albums ever, fine if it's top 20. 39. And with some of the other albums we still have to talk about here.
It also had a impact. It had a big impact.
Yeah.
It's just not. And the music, like, it still sounds good.
It holds up. You can go listen to Illmatic right now and it's still banging. 39! That shit is like, that makes me want to puke. Okay, coming in at 37 is Enter the Wu-Tang. This is the most annoying pick on here. The album name is Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, and they ranked it 37. You couldn't have just moved it down one and just like went with it. You had to put Beyonce at 36.
Yeah.
This placement I'm actually okay with. I don't have an
30s?
issue with this at all.
Yeah.
Well, it's 37, but
Or it's
yeah, higher 30s. I'm not mad at this because if you're moving around
Lower
some albums,
30s.
yeah.
You're so dumb. You're so dumb. Why are you saying move it? You move it up.
I'm not moving shit. I'm saying it's good placement.
I know that.
If you're moving things up and down, you're shimming things, like Enter the Wu-Tang top 37th album of all time.
Sure.
I'm not mad at that.
No. Next, at number 34, we have It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back by Public Enemy. Sure, I actually can't speak on this because I haven't listened to it.
I'm not mad at this.
It's way too old for me.
Yeah. Boomer. Zoomer type shit.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at this. Number 32, Ready to Die by Biggie. If you're taking into consideration every album of all time, that's fine. But I do think this needs to be slightly lower. Top 25.
Slightly higher.
Higher. Whatever you want to say. I don't care.
Slightly higher.
But 27, 20, whatever is less than 30 something, you know, so.
But if you're moving up on a list, you move it
whatever.
higher.
I don't give a shit. Move it to the top 25. I'm done saying higher or lower. I'm just going to say the number, I think. Most lists have, like most other corporation lists, have this as the greatest hip-hop album of all time. Okay?
Yeah. Some artists they have multiple of, but of course we said it earlier, like it seems like they kind of strayed away from that.
Yeah.
But Life After Death, not on here too.
Yeah,
that's one of the greatest like double albums.
Yeah, that should have been somewhere on this list as well. Up until this point, I don't think they have a single duplicate. I don't think they have any duplicates until number 12 with Radiohead. So I was thinking, and everyone that I was seeing was thinking they were just doing one album per artist, and then they started doing duplicates, and that opened up a whole can of worms. It's like, well, if you're doing duplicates, then what the hell is this on the list for? You need to swap that out for XYZ. So I don't know. At 29 is the low end theory.
Good placement. Like, I can't really be mad at that. Number 26, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah.
Good placement.
If we're talking cultural impact and stuff like that, it needs to be top 20. But 26, I'll take it. I'm surprised they even had Kanye on this list.
Yeah, I know.
I was thinking they were just going to leave him out, which would have been horrible.
Yeah. But, like, if you're talking about impact and stuff, I could see Yeezus low on this list.
But that's only impact.
Yeah, I know.
People that vote on this list do not like Yeezus.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of that. Also, Yeezus is not that popular, like, in terms of the whole music scape. Now we're into the top 5 of the hip-hop albums that are ranked. We have 19, The Chronic.
That's perfect.
I am very happy with this placement. It deserves to be here. Top 20? Yeah, fair enough.
Number 13, The Blueprint by Jay-Z. Lower.
I think Jay-Z has better albums.
That's true.
Yeah. I think Reasonable Doubt and the Black Album. And I do think this is a little high. I think Jay-Z could have been moved to top 25. Coming in at number 7 is Good Kid, Mad City. I am happy with this placement.
Yeah. Good placement.
7th best album of all time. Fair enough. I'm going to argue it's number 1, but...
Yeah, one of the greatest concept albums ever.
Yeah, and dude, you turn on Good Kid, Mad City, that shit is so unbelievable every listen. It is so just perfect.
Number 5, we have Blonde by Frank Ocean.
This is ridiculous.
I'm
sorry.
High?
I'm sorry. Top 5 greatest album of all time? Are we joking? It's good. It's really good, don't get me wrong, but like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's a really high placement.
That's kind of ridiculous. And at number 1.
Yeah, number 1.
Number 1 is a hip-hop, R&B adjacent, whatever the hell you want to call it, album. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Perfect placement.
Yeah, that's fine.
You can't argue this.
Yeah,
this is...
for me, it wouldn't be there, but like it is a top 10
That album is
ever,
so good. It is so good. And it holds up. Like, it's crazy. All right, so that sums up the list. Now we're going to get into some snubs. Albums that that maybe could have made the list or definitely should have.
We have To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah, now that we know they're doing duplicates, there is absolutely no reason To Pimp a Butterfly should not have been on this list. Kendrick should have had 2 albums in the top 10. I do think Good Kid, Mad City needs to be ranked higher. To Pimp a Butterfly has that insane cultural impact. It has all right. It was literally an anthem. Or still is, I guess. Both should have been top 10, which is insane. Since we're doing duplicates, 2001 by Dre. 100% should have been on here. I'm not saying it needed to be high. It should not have. It's not as high as The Chronic, but 2001 needed to be like top 50, somewhere around there.
Another snub, we have MADVILLIANY by MF Doom and Madlib.
Yeah, the fact that this isn't on here is kind of ridiculous. It's unbelievable. I'm not saying it needed to be high because it doesn't have the cultural impact really outside of hip hop. Considering some of the other albums they put on here, it needs to be like top 80. Another one is the Eminem Show. I mean, Marshall Mathers was ranked at 80. It needs to be lower. Those are 1A, 1B, so it's just your taste, really. But the Eminem Show also has an insane cultural impact, if not more actual cultural impact than Marshall Mathers LP. Another one, this would be one that would be like somewhere in the 90s, maybe in the 80s. The impact it's had, I think it did need to be on this list, is Man on the Moon. It literally started an entire new subgenre of hip-hop. Like, people would not be rapping about what they're rapping about without Kid Cudi. So many big artists talk about Kid Cudi as an inspiration. So Kid Cudi needed to be on this list. And I think Man on the Moon would just be the best option.
And then last, we have any Weeknd album.
I cannot believe The Weeknd did not make this list. Considering how popular he is, I would literally think Apple Music would just shove him in here somewhere. They would probably go with After Hours if they were to go with one. I don't know how they were doing like different types of albums, but I would want to see Trilogy instead. Trilogy completely changed dark R&B. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this Apple Music list. Again, this is just some stupid corporations list who probably had a bunch of old people vote on it. Who cares? It does create conversations, so that's fun. Let us know in the comments what you thought, and we'll see you in the next video.